It's nice to be back into the Wednesday circus. I missed it for 3 weeks now, and hope you all enjoyed time spent with Ken and Elwin. I was just going through the recordings, editing, just managed to edit 2 of them. Seems like it's nice. Everyone had a good experience, and you all got some insights out of it, especially when Ken gave the talk about work, right? How life and work, it's part of the same thing. I'll take this opportunity to check in with the Sangha as well. I've been busy, crazily busy, working on the Chintamani production. I didn't know that it was going to be that tough. I thought it was going to be very easy because I don't use scripts for any of my sessions. But it turns out that for the Chintamani production, we had to use scripts. So we use the old recordings, transcribe it, and then I have to learn how to film it, which is intense. Takes up a lot of my time and the team's time. So that's a lot on my mind. Just going really crazy about it. At the same time, it got me wondering, while I was going through such a phase of being very intense, of getting the whole production right and keeping in, making sure the project timeline is going well, which we did not actually have a project timeline at all. Just have an idea of when we need to launch the program. All right. And then that's when I realized that I'm both the client in this production and I'm also the boss. So actually it can be set by me. I didn't notice that. Having Samira working was wonderful. She's extremely hardworking and on the ball. That she will work weekends as well. So the first week of her working together with me actually caused me stress. I was thinking like, okay, I'm not a boss, I'm a leader. So if my staff is working hard, I need to work extra hard. I need to work harder than my staff, right? I can't just laze around and not do anything. So that put me a bit on overdrive. So I'm really glad that I had 3 weeks off from the Wednesdays. As I was reflecting on these intense period, whereby I might have lost myself a little, because with this production, it costs a lot of money. The funds were raised by some members of the Sangha as a donation. So I'm the kind of person is that when someone passes me money, I make sure I don't lose the money. I make sure I double the money, Although it's not an investment, they're not stakeholders, but that's just the way I view my relationship with money, to be accountable. Although the donors were very kind to say, DK, do whatever you need with it, do whatever you want with it. It's like, no, I have to double it. And that's when I reflected that in times we can go through certain intense periods. It can be work-related, finance-related, money-related, personal transformation, or we get in touch with certain traumas, different kind of emotions. We might have setbacks. We might have overexcitement about things, whereby we zoom into these emotions. We zoom into this episode in our life. And it can blow out of proportion in the sense of the intensity and the energy that we feed them. Like it is the world. It is important. If you think about the times when you're working on something important that felt important to you, how does that make you feel? That makes you feel different, an edge or anything? Like it's so important that it must succeed, or you must feel rewarded in a sense? The sense of reward to everyone is very different, because the way we measure ourselves, the way we place certain values onto ourselves or onto the things that we do, they are very different. Some people get reward because they see money or they receive good appraisers. Some get a sense of reward when they feel accomplished, that, oh, I am doing something important. I have purpose, at least in that moment of time. Right? I believe we all can relate to it. But then, let's say you're walking along a park on the way home, or you're standing next to a beautiful tree, or there's a nice, or the clouds and the skies are beautiful, right? The skies are always beautiful, as long as you remember to look up. Like that moment, everyone is having a subjective experience, not entirely objective. Some people may be very happy, some people may be peaceful, some people may be stressed, some people may just be caught up in the world of thinking. That's when they put intensity into the things that they are experiencing or they are focused on at that point of time. But then what is the truth? What is the real world? What is reality in that moment? Can't really determine. So when I rewinded my mind, back to the times when I was more mindful, or when I was on a holiday, if you think about those moments when you're on holiday, you're on vacation, a relaxing vacation, you're there to experience a season or a new city or a new countryside. It must felt nice, right? That it's calm, you're able to get in touch with whatever's appearing in front of you. You have that sense of curiosity, that beginner's mind. How the trees like, how the plants like, how the people like, how are people walking, how are people behaving, how people dressed in your vacation and city. Everything's very new. It's nice. There's no intensity, right? But there are moments of time when we feel that our own life is intense. And how would someone on holiday walk past? How would they experience it? Do you think that whatever you're experiencing will be reflected into their minds? I don't think so, right? Because their mind is very different. They're on a vacation. They have a holiday mindset. Then when we zoom out and see things from a bigger perspective, are we here in life to give in to our emotions, to give in to what we place in front of us, our projects and all? Because we can actually be experiencing life as it is, more objectively, by being in touch with what's happening, what's going on. So not everyone has to go through the intense period in their minds, but it's how we want to look at things. So when I thus reflected on that, that gave me a liberation from all the planning and all the projects, the different kind of intense energies that I felt during this period of time. I was able to remove myself out of it because I realized that I gave so much importance or significance into the events that were happening in my life, but that was my own doing. Because the people that I walk past, they wouldn't even know what's going on in me. It's not their problem, it's not their business. And that reinstated me back to mindfulness, to a place of choice. Of how do I actually want to be? How I want to live my life? And to set the priorities right, that it's not about giving in to all these things that happen in our lives, but it's how we actually want to live. Because everyone can be living their heads, but some people can actually just be in the moment. And to know that everything that we go through in life, every event, every episode, they are impermanent. They are all subject to change. It's only happening for now, whatever we are dealing with, just for now. Whether you're sick, or you're searching for something, or you're processing something within you, or you're transitioning, it's temporary. But how come sometimes we can make it seem like it is everything when it's just a passing phase? So the key was to adopt the beginner's mind. In Zen, we call it the beginner's mind with a sense of curiosity, to experience the world as it reflects into our consciousness, and to not put so much intensity into things. Because at the end of the day, who cares? Only we care, because we put so much attention on the things. We think that if we don't survive or we don't become healthy, Others would be neglected, this and that, right? So we kind of aggravate or amplify the kind of suffering that we are experiencing, whether it's mental or physical. Because sometimes we can just give in to what goes on, to these phenomena. So if you can remove yourself from the picture and see that life has different phases, we are always transitioning because everything is in constant change, then why can't we live with more freedom? Instead of thinking that freedom is outside, that once we resolve this issue, once we balance this, then we can have peace, we can have freedom. We can rather, we can think that freedom is actually right here and right now, something that we can step into, that we are born into freedom. We have breathing space in our lives. And that's it. We've got it. Like how you're sitting now, I believe most of you are breathing already, just being in touch with yourself. You can drop all the events that has happened in the past weeks or the past months, or whatever episodes you might be playing out in your head or anticipating. There's just this raw you that's left. That's breathing. This person that is born into freedom, that survived 9 months in the womb, that was sleeping peacefully in the womb when you first entered this world. There's always this safe space that's within you, where you can breathe comfortably. Some of us might have brought certain intensities into this session. Maybe we're playing out memories and perceptions of the past. Or maybe we're trying to predict the future, which is nothing but an imagination. If you can just let all these thoughts go, and just know that they're nothing but thoughts. And if there's feelings, then feelings are simply feelings. But if you don't give in to your feelings or to your worst imagination, then what is there left? Perhaps it's just this peaceful and calming breath that's happening. This little voice in you that just wants decay to shut up. Because you know you want silence. So what's the difference between my voice and all kind of thoughts and episodes that you've been playing out in your head this entire week, when it's all external and you just can't wait for it all to shut up? which is what you're doing now, breathing, knowing there's silence within you. Invite a sense of friendliness into yourself, knowing that your breath is actually your best friend. It has been with you throughout your entire human existence. If you lean into your breathing, this natural rhythm and tempo, you may also notice that it is actually your breath that is embracing you like a child. You step out of the world of thoughts and the world of feelings because you know that you deserve peace. Mindfulness of breathing is your safest refuge that brings you back into the island within yourself, far away from the storms of the world. Feeling more connected towards the earth and your seat, allow gravity to absorb your weight. Relinquish it all to gravity, surrendering it. Bring a sense of wakefulness into your posture. Open up your mind and pay attention to what's happening without any judgment. So don't try to focus on your breath. Just have this bare and open awareness to what is actually happening in this moment. If you notice your mind thinking, then just note thinking, 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 thinking. And then release it and bring your awareness back to this bare attention. If you dwell too long into your thoughts, there might be emotions like anxiety, frustration, sorrow. Can you simply note them about 4 times by calling them out? You don't have to actually verbalize it, but just call them out in your mind. Notice them. Or when there's distraction, then just note distraction, 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 distraction. If it's discomfort, then just note discomfort, just noting things as they are. And when there's nothing, then there's just breathing in and breathing out, which you take note of. So bear attention to see which is the phenomena, whether physical or mental, that is the most apparent to you right here, right now. It doesn't matter whether the mind is still or not, or whether the body is comfortable or not. The point of this meditation is to have this bare awareness and pay attention to all phenomena by calling them out. If you feel the need to adjust your posture, then just note if there's any irritation, aversion, or physical pain by calling them out. If you have the urge to move, then just take note of intention to move, intention to move. Simply being this bare awareness and noting whatever appears in your mind or your physical space. If they lead to more thinking or more emotions, then you identify and call them out. But don't get pulled into them. Don't follow them. And if you notice that you've drifted away, then you can call that out as well as distraction or feeding a thought or whatever you think it is. Just noting and then letting go. As time passes, you can add in some elements of wisdom and insight. Using your experience of each phenomena, although without judgment, wisdom and insight are able to help you to determine whether these phenomena are wholesome, unwholesome, or neutral. Wholesome meaning it leads you to peace, stillness, concentration, and mindfulness. Unwholesome meaning they pull you off center, makes you escape into the world of thoughts and imaginations, fantasies, and anxious anticipations. Those are unwholesome. Neutral can be like hearing a sound which you're not reacting to. So it's not about trying to create wholesome or unwholesome dharmas or phenomena, but it is to use wisdom to take note of them. Remember, it's not about trying to change your experience of the present moment, but simply to note, to know, pure knowing, non-doing. whichever phenomena that is more intense or lasting longer, then you can spend a longer time noting it, just observing it, until it fades away on its own. If you catch yourself trying to change your experience or trying to chase away some experience, then just notice that aversion or that anticipation or that unevenness of mind. Since we are all meditating, you can let wisdom to help you decide how to bring you back into inner peace. You don't do the job. Let wisdom do it. How can wisdom bring you back instantaneously into peace, into inner peace? That's as quick and as fast as a flash of lightning. Faster than your visualizations, imaginations, mudras, kriyas, tantras, chants. Now, you can bring to mind one event that's happening in your life right now, something of significance that you have given importance to. Just notice whether your wisdom is interested in it or not. Whether your mind is interested or not. What kind of phenomena can you pick up from this event or this thought? What kind of energies, what kind of intentions, what kind of impulses, mental formations, or emotions? Just note them, identify them. Noting that these impulses are not you. They're just thoughts, or they're just feelings, or simply impulses. These are all mental formations. Do they serve your inner peace? Or do they pull you by extracting you out abruptly from your center? See how you can restore yourself back into your own island of mindfulness within for inner peace. If there's any emotions that's being brought about that are painful, you can notice this clinging or this attachment to them, and invite a sense of self-compassion. Acknowledging the dukkha, the suffering. And just know that it is an emotion, it is not you. You don't actually own it, but you don't have to push it away either. Let it be there. Allow it to breathe together with you. Soothing it and allowing it to be there. And relax into it with its existence. So, even if you were to get what you want, does it bring you true inner peace that is lasting? Will getting the thing that you want actually last? Or will it also be subject to change? No doubt, getting what you want might make you feel better, perhaps happier. Even if it's going to last for a very long time to make your life better, or give you a temporary peace of mind, how long would that mental state last? How long would that so-called well-being actually last? Or will your mind go and look for something new to desire over, or to create a new problem out of it by giving it unnecessary attention? In terms of inner peace, how much do those things actually really matter in regards to your inner peace? Life has ups and downs. It is human to feel emotions or to be afraid of getting what we don't want, or afraid of not getting what we want. Fear is an emotion. But what is more frightening? To not get what you want or what you think can make you happy, or to forget yourself, to lose yourself, to be taken off your evenness of mind, to be pulled out of your center, to lose your way, to return home into yourself. Which is scarier? Losing and missing out on your desires or projects, or losing yourself? So remember, where is your home within? Remember how it feels like to dwell in it. Remember how it feels like to be extracted out of it. gain familiarity with it. In future, how are you going to calm your mental formations? Sensing some regret or guilt, just note it if it appears. And what does your mindfulness and wisdom tell you about dwelling in them for too long? So it's not about running away from things or to try to change things. It's to understand them. That suffering is a part of human life. It's how you can understand it, how you can get to the root cause of suffering by first understanding it, identifying your cravings, your desires, your attachments, and for not truly understanding the nature of reality. Because sometimes we paint so many stories and narratives into what we think is happiness and true peace. That's why we see ourselves as separate from others and from all phenomena. We balloon our own self-identity. That's why we lose ourselves and fall into the trappings of the ego that leads to suffering, that prevents liberation. And true freedom is really right here and right now. As long as we can learn to let go of unwholesome impulses, the wrong kind of thinking, the wrong understanding and ignorance, then we can begin the path of healing and transformation. We can learn to do better in future, to be more mindful in future. There's no need to be so hard onto yourself, for you're just human. the greatest forgiveness in the universe, in your precious human lifespan, whereby you're conscious and healthy in your mind, is to learn to forgive yourself for not being true to yourself, for not being honest to yourself. To be true and honest to oneself is to learn that thoughts are just thoughts, feelings are just feelings, they are not you. So that you won't be pulled out of your center again. The center where the source of tranquility, mindfulness, wisdom, and happiness without conditions sprout from. So may all beings and all of us learn how to forgive ourselves truly, to have the greatest forgiveness. May we not give in to our impulses and our narratives again. May we not be pulled out of our center and our inner peace. May we learn to live with satipanya, mindful wisdom, so that we can still go on to enjoy the simplest joys in life, to be in touch with the happy conditions that surround us so that we can be contented, to live with few desires, or even better, no desires, so that bliss, tranquility, and evenness of mind is always there for us to appreciate life as it is and to understand phenomena as they are, to be able to see the dangers, the adinawa of clinging onto phenomena that will drag us many rounds across the world, tiring us in vain, so that our minds will not run and be dispersed again. And if that happens, may we learn to forgive, to reflect, so that we can live with more understanding and compassion towards ourselves. It's only through getting in touch and re-establishing inner peace within ourselves that we can spread this peace across the world, bit by bit, person by person. Because it's only after we have learned how to live in such a way, only then can we have the mindfulness and the wisdom to help others restore their peace and set them on the path of healing and transformation. One mind at a time. Restore yourself to your breathing. Allow your breath to embrace you and any feelings or emotions. What you allow will pass. What you resist will persist. So soothe, allow, and ease yourself into your experience. Let all pass like the passing storm, the passing clouds. And the mind is a clear blue sky. Coming back to the circle, thank you for practicing together with all of us, sitting in Vipassana for the past hour. What I shared was satipanya, mindful wisdom. That's what you can aspire to live in. Mindfulness itself is not enough. It has to come with wisdom, mindful wisdom, satipanya. It's something that we can apply into our day-to-day life. And dwelling in bare attention, bare awareness. A part of that is sampajanya. Sampajanya means like a clear comprehension of yourself. It comes together with mindfulness. That's why in Pali we say sati sampajanya. Mindfulness and that inner awareness. So remember, meditation does not have to be complicated. Doesn't have an end goal per se, because meditation is a constant practice. It's a cultivation of the mind. That's what we call it in Buddhism. We call it chitta bhavana. Chitta meaning mind or heart. Bhavana means cultivation. We're here to cultivate our mind through understanding first. It's not about rejecting the experience or running away from our minds or getting into a la-la land or fantasy land to generate any energies whatsoever. Meditation at the crux of it, it's the cultivation of the mind. Whatever energy practices that I've taught you all, any mudras or any programs I've taught you all, right, those actually point back into how you can cultivate your mind, what kind of mental attitudes can you bring into your life so that you can live with more peace, harmony, compassion, more well-being. It's always about the essence and not so much about the form. We use the form to get into the essence, and once you're in touch with the essence, the forms will manifest on their own. A lot sometimes in life we want to make ourselves feel a little better so that we have more space to cultivate, so that we have more conditions to return to ourselves. But sometimes life is not like that. Sometimes life can be very chaotic. Sometimes life doesn't give us what we actually want. So what are we going to do about it? Right? Can we learn not to have too many wants? Can we learn not to be attached to things? Because life is not guaranteed. I think that we are very fortunate that sometimes we can actually work towards what we want. And we need to cherish those moments. Because if we don't cherish them and we take them for granted, we think that they're going to last forever, or we think that similar new opportunities will pop up again. And down that path, which is, it can become very worldly, that's when we forget how to practice. We forget to practice, we forget to cultivate, forget to come back to ourselves. That's where we can lose ourselves also, when there's and over enjoyment or excitement about the world. So you see, everything needs a balance. We want to avoid the extremes of indulging into sensual pleasures. We also want to avoid the extreme of self-mortification. That's what the Buddha avoided, and he called it the middle path. So self-mortification back in those days, or there's some ascetics to practice like that. You can be starving themselves, or just sticking their tongue out for days or weeks or months or years, or rolling on the floor, not moving from a spot under the tree, sleeping on a bed of thorns, that kind of thing. But self-mortification in the modern world can be seen as mental mortification of how sometimes we can slash ourselves up internally, thinking that we don't deserve this and that, denying ourselves of happiness, right? So it's these two extremes that we want to avoid. Doesn't mean that you have half of the mortification and half of indulging in pleasures. It doesn't work like that, right? It means to rise above them both, to see them clearly, that we just want to avoid these two extremes. So it's okay to enjoy life. It's okay to just work towards what you want. But remember, you are fortunate to be able to even be on that path. So count the blessing that you can have the freedom to pursue what you want, although it might not be what you need. Because people in war-torn countries, people living in poverty, they might not even be able to do that at all, right? Their values change. The meaning and their purpose change because suddenly there's something wrong in their lives, that's in their country or in their city. So even if you're able to pursue what you want, just remember, you also need to practice. So don't get overexcited or attached onto the worldly path. Use those good conditions that you have to also practice. Because when you return home or return to your place of dwelling, you're allowed to have peace. So what are you going to do with that time? Right? You can meditate, you can get in touch with yourself, you can reflect on the day. What do you do right? What were the wholesome dharmas or wholesome phenomena that you're in touch with, that you have cultivated and generated? You want to rejoice in them, be happy about them, so that you can share your merits. Or you want to also look at what you were not so mindful about, right? That may have caused some pain or suffering into your experience, right? It could be onto you or onto others, right? What pulls you out of your center, that's really suffering, right? So reflect on that and don't be so hard on yourself because you're only human. Then make an aspiration to begin anew so that you can do better in future, do better tomorrow. You see, these are moments that we can reflect. It's very important to reflect daily on what you did right, what you did well in terms of dharma or merits. Because in Chinese, we call it 回向, means share of your merits, right? 功德回向. 功德 is like your work, right? What you do and what you get. So you need to reflect on it first. You need to rejoice in your merits. Otherwise, what are you going to take to share with others? If every day you just go, Namo Sigado, I share all my merits with everybody, or you have different chants for sending your merits, but if you don't reflect on your merits, what are you taking to share with others? So go and reflect. Even if you learn to begin anew with yourself by reflecting on what you did wrong today, that's not so wholesome, cause some suffering. That reflection is a practice because you're working on cultivating your mind, about being honest with yourself, right? That is a Dharma practice. And according to the Buddha, to the scriptures, it said that when you practice the Dharma, it generates a lot of merits. Even if you practice for just 5 minutes, the merits is greater than making offerings to 1,000 Buddhas. You see the value of that, of these kind of reflections. So bit by bit, we're accumulating our merits, we're cultivating on the path, right? So bit by bit, bit by bit, bit by bit. Most important of all, we actually have the opportunity to practice. as Ken has shared 2 weeks ago, right? Even you see work as an opportunity for you to practice things that push a button, so you gain more understanding into yourself. So what is peace of mind, right? We use it very, you know, the word peace of mind, I see that we have corrupted those 3 words, that phrase. I just want a peace of mind. After this, I'll have a peace of mind, right? It becomes a jargon. But true peace of mind, which you have experienced in meditation, you know, it's like an evenness of mind. That's why in Chinese, sorry to share in Chinese because I'm Chinese, right? So in Chinese, it's called ping, jing. That's peace of mind. Ping means even, and jing means what? Quiet, right? Silence, and it's calm. Jing is like calm. So they can, like water that's even and calm. It reflects things as they are. The dust or the earth, right? When water is calm, no, it all drops into the bed of the river, and it's calm and it reflects what is real and what is true. And the mind is like that. Natural state of our mind before the ripples comes about or the waves comes about is like that. It's called 平静 and evenness of mind. So remember that. It's very important. It's evenness. It's not called a balance. It's just an evenness of mind. That's the beauty of Chinese. And the sentence structure, you don't need a noun and a verb, right? Unlike most languages, you have a noun, it must have a verb. Otherwise, it won't make sense. Or a verb must have a noun, right? That's why it's not called balance, because balance can be a verb, right? So 平静 is just 平静, just, right? Just like that. So evenness of mind that we can maintain. What I shared today, it's very much Vipassana. Vipassana means insight, insight meditation. Again, insight into your mind. So you saw, no, the insight is not some crazy or extraordinary wisdom. Because what is extraordinary wisdom if it can't be applied right in this moment, when it can't really make sense? So if you want to have just this evenness of mind, right, it would be good to use this practice of noting. Just noting. Then you're here. You're not there, not out there. You're just note, and then it will pass. You can see impermanence. Then when you actually do practice with the mudras or whatsoever, you have more clarity. The mind is more open, more attentive to what is here, what is there, what you need to send blessings to, and all that. Right? But the foundation, the core of this noting, be very good. So I will share it in our group chat. There's a book called Mindfulness Meditation Made Easy that actually describes this practice. So if you want to practice along, for this week, and you want more understanding, I just shared, you can refer to that book. It's quite an easy read.